Neighbours promised the ending of all endings for the feature-length, primetime finale, and there were plenty of surprises in store for old and new fans. With the likes of Scott Robinson, played by Jason Donovan, and Charlene Robinson, Kylie Minogue, making their long-awaited comeback, Susan Kennedy, Jackie Woodburn, and Carl Kennedy, Alan Fletcher, took center stage alongside their fellow stalwarts of the Channel 5 soap. With ghosts of the past also making a brief comeback to the weekday serial drama, the residents of Ramsay Street all got their happy ever afters, and viewers couldn't believe this was the last time they were going to see them. Taking to Twitter, fans were in floods of tears, with Kirsty writing, "Scott and Charlene. It's too emotional, I have goosebumps #Neighbours." Matthew added, "Blimey, that speech from Susan. Oof. Right in the feels." Jackie Woodburn, "You star #Neighbours #celebrating Neighbours #Neighbours finale." Sunderland and Lollipops asked, "Why the hell am I crying my eyes out at the last ever? #Neighbours #Neighbours final." Marta commented, "Not ashamed to say it. Yes, it got me at the very end. Crying at Neighbours #Neighbours #Neighbours finale. Last 10 minutes of #Neighbours is going to be a tearjerker. Even though I've not watched in years, am feeling very nostalgic," Neil remarked. Michelle posted on the social media platform, "That was a much more emotional experience than I thought it was going to be." Aloha opined, "Well, I wasn't an emotional wreck until Scott and Charlene rocked up. Then hearing Susan's speech, which summed it up perfectly. #Neighbours #Neighbours finale #emotional wreck #perfect blend." Following another roller coaster episode, the finale ended with the residents of Ramsay Street celebrating Jodie Rebecca's, Ryan Maloney, wedding to Melanie Pearson, Lucinda Cowden. As the party was underway, Susan thought about what she could write in the Ramsay Street history book, and this became a monologue to close the show. Walking amongst her friends and family, Susan said, "How do you begin to describe a street? Do you talk about the houses? The bricks and the mortar, the gardens and the trees? Or do you talk about the people? The young, the old and everyone in between?" she continued. "Where do you begin with the history? Do you begin with your own or those who came before you? When we moved to Ramsay Street, the community was already here. The Ramsays and the Robinsons, the stories from those early days are legendary. And their legacy still lives on today. There have been many families over the years of all shapes and sizes. Some of them unexpected, and friends who became like family, whether they were related or not. Love has always been a central thing. How many romances were born on this street? Things seldom ran smoothly, of course, but they usually worked out in the end. I think of all the people who never crossed paths who could have been great friends. And those who kept turning up whether we welcomed them or not," Susan added as the monologue continued. "The street always has a way of bringing people back," she said before the ghosts from the past came back to Ramsay Street. These included the ghosts of Madge Bishop, Anne Charleston, Doug Willis, Terrence Donovan, Sonia Rebecca, Eve Murray, and Finn Kelly, Rob Mills. Susan explained, "Then I think of the people who can't come back. The people gone too soon. How would they look if they were still alive today? If they'd been allowed to reach their potential? So many people that were lost, and then others who were just lost. How well do you know your British soaps? How many times has Ian Beale been married in EastEnders? What is the name of Bianca Jackson and Ricky Butcher's son on EastEnders? On EastEnders in 2002, who accidentally ran Jamie Mitchell over in his car, which caused his death? How many times has Corey Steve McDonald been married? What happened to Emily Bishop in Coronation Street? Who murdered Maxine Peacock in Coronation Street in 2003? Which incident in 1993 killed off 4 characters in Emmerdale? When did the show stop being known as Emmerdale Farm? On what day did Hollyoaks air its first episode? What was the name of the much-loved Coronation Street pet dog who was put down in April 2020 after 14 years? 1996 saw the arrival of one of Hollyoaks' all-time bad boys and rival, a Kirk Benson, but who is he? Who is the longest-serving character on Coronation Street? Who shot Phil in EastEnders? How many fires have there been at Corey's Rover's return? Get out of my pub, you're no soaps fan. You're either too young to remember the big lines or have better things to do on weekday evenings. Casual viewer, you watch them sometimes so you kinda know what's been going on. Die hard fan, you love watching the soaps so much your entire week is planned around when they air. I think you have to acknowledge everything, celebrate it all. The good, the bad, because all of that makes us who we are, she declared as she began to conclude her speech. Everyone deserves a place in the history of Ramsay Street. Even those who watched us from afar. Together, we have been the perfect blend. The stalwart of the show was brought out of her mind back to the present day as her husband Carl asked her where she had gone. "I was home," she explained, before the show's iconic and original theme tune began to play. The final minutes of the finale saw a huge balloon pop above Ramsay Street, with confetti showering down on the residents below. Before the credits rolled, the camera focused on Susan and Carl one last time, as this was the final ever shot viewers would see. The show came to an end on Friday night after Channel 5 decided not to renew their contract with the program, meaning it lost a huge financial benefactor. Although the weekday serial drama had been on screens for almost 4 decades, this was not enough to save it in a day where streaming services dominate terrestrial television. Explaining why it had to happen, the actor who played Paul Robinson, Stefan Dennis, said, "It's just an economic decision, and in business, that's what happens. That happens in business every single day. If a show can't get the income for the outgoings, then of course, no business is going to hang on to that. It doesn't matter how sentimental." I think both Channel 5 and Australian network, Channel 10 really did hang on for absolutely as long as they could. Channel 5 was clutching it by the fingernails by the end, he told Digital Spy.